Alright, how do you fix the crappy Furrion solar on the side connector? It looks like that. And it looks like this on the inside. With this, a Powerwerx Anderson power pole connector. So we're gonna see if we can connect this thing in there and have a real connector that we can run 45 amps times 2 if we want to, instead of 10 amps times 1. Alright, here it is pulled out. Just the wire that can connect to the battery. With just 4 screws to take that out. Assume if you're looking at this you can turn a screw, so I didn't video that. But this just comes off. It's got a gasket back there. Certainly want to save that. And then the wires that are connected. I may use this temporarily to connect a solar panel. But getting ready to do a big solar upgrade. So all this will have to move eventually, but the plug will remain where it is at. So here is the connector. If we can get that in the frame a little bit of light. So we need to cut that around there. Figure out how to do that a little bit. If we look at the back side, it's not quite round, so that's a little disappointing, but I think we can figure something out here. So let's see what we do. Alright, the plug on the back side of this, I was noticing it has some locking tabs holding it in. See this one over here, I hope you can see. I actually just pried it right loose with the screwdriver. So try that again. I just got it under there and kind of give a little pry on the other side. Yeah, there it goes. It broke. Come right out. So yeah, that's gonna work. So getting this one, if I had a better screwdriver, I'd probably do better, but it works. So broke that one. That's good. And the last one, broke that one. So, whoop, and off it comes. That is sweeter than candy. So that connector, Furrion connector is off. And now that should be pretty easy to drill out. So I want to tear up some more of that maybe. And then get a hole saw to it. This plastic is pretty brittle, so the rest of these locking tabs I can just whoop, snap it flush off with my finger. And then actually the light's bad, so I can grab that one, snap it flush off with my finger. So if I can get a drill bit to stay in line between these 2 power connection holes, that should be, there we go, drill bit to stay in line between these 2 power connection holes, that should be pretty easy to drill out. Alright, I don't have a drill press. If I did this, probably infinitely easier. I'm going to try to start a hole with a small bit. Alright, that went well. Alright, one more bigger. Alright, that went well. And now the hole saw. It's got a fairly large pilot bit. Let's see if I can keep it centered. All right. Got a big hole in it now. There we go. And voila, look at that. That goes right in. All right. Then, right on the back side, big nut. It's in there. There we go. It looks factory. That is sweeter than candy. I'm telling you, crappy Furrion connector gone. Some very nice power pole connectors in. So now we connect them to the battery so I can plug in or connect them to a solar charge controller, and then that to a battery, to my battery, and we'll be good to plug in the DIY solar suitcase. Alright, off camera, I lopped off the two leftover Furrion connectors. So now I'm going to set it up for my solar charge controller. So just a little, strip off a little wire, and then into that solar charge controller. I've got just a small one. Again, I'm going to set up kind of temporary for my solar ground panels, but ferrules work much better into those wire connectors than trying to put a stranded wire in there. So I am going to put on a ferrule, and I don't have a proper ferrule connector, or crimper I mean. This is an Anderson power pole crimper, but it works pretty good on ferrules. A little squeeze, and I mean, yeah, that is, gotta go to the smaller size. Get another pack of another ferrule. I'm gonna use a smaller crimp size. So in there, and then crimp. And that's good and solid. And the black, cut that off, twist it up, and pack of ferrules I got on Amazon. Oops. And in and again, Anderson power pole connector or crimper. I'm using it in the smallest size, the 15 amp size. Works good on these ferrules. Whoa, about to lose my wire. So crimp. All right. And then my solar charge controller, black is negative, so we're going to push this in. Need to open that up some more though. Open that up some more. Do positive first, I guess. There we go. Oops. Well, that's in. And then tighten down. And then the other one. That's in. And tighten down. All right, and then those are, I guess we can read that on there. Those are the battery leads that I pulled off of the other Furrion connector, so they got some terminals to go in the end of my battery post. So that's done, and then now I just need to wire the some PV wire from there to my connector that we just hacked. Okay, now for the new Furrion power pole end. I crimped on. This is the Anderson connector. You can see, I hope you can see, it's got a little, it's almost like a ferrule with a barb and a little hook on the end. So that's going into my old Furrion power pole connector, and then the other end I just put another ferrule on, like I did in the battery end of the video. So that's going on into the charge controller. This is going on to that connector. Now, I don't know if we can see this. Yeah, maybe. All right, inside here, if we look and get the lighting just right, you can see a little metal piece sticking down. That is what's going to catch the lip of this hook. So we need to put this in from the back side this way, and this hook will catch on that metal piece there. So it's going to be hard as heck to show anything on video, but if I go back in and whoops, push that in, let's see if we can see anything in here. I don't think so, but gosh, the lighting is so bad. I'm gonna have to do this off camera and show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, got the wires to the connector. This wire is 10 gauge, 10 copper, fine strand, silicone jacket. It's the best wire you can buy. I wouldn't normally even install it here. It's not necessary, but I had some, and I had a piece that was almost the exact right length. The problem with it in these Anderson connectors is you can see the jacket just about fills up the connector. So if you leave some jacket on there to keep from touching or shorting anything, it makes it hard to get the fitting into the plug. But let's see if we can see here. If you look at the top two, you can see the metal part looks a little thicker than looking at the metal on the bottom part. The bottom ones do not have the connector in it. The top ones do. So that bottom one is the catch that's part of the connector, and the top one, what you're seeing, is that little hook piece that I put on the wire a little bit earlier. So it's in there. I just got one little small solar charge controller, so just connected up one for right now. I'll do another one maybe another day, another time, but I'm going to get this installed back into the fifth wheel. All right, here we are back under the fifth wheel. So there's the hole where this connector came out of. So if I can do this one-handed and hold the camera, all we're going to do is just shove some wires back in there, get the gasket back on it. We're going to put that up there. I'll get all that straight in a minute. Put it in there. So if we come back here in this dark hole, so there's the wires coming out. Again, semi-temporary. just for the next couple trips. I'm going to probably put this controller right there, and then the wires from the plug will reach, and the wires will go to the battery. Now this battery, you can't see anything but the case. That is a 280 amp hour DIY build. So again, semi-temporary in its location. It has a brother. That brother, when I build it, I'm going to do a video. So at the time I'm filming this, that video is not done yet, but it will be on the channel. So like and subscribe. You can see that if it's not already there, and you can still see it if it is there. But now there are just a couple quirky little things I got going on. This is a Raspberry Pi. I have it running Venus OS, so it works on the Victron system. I'll show you what the data comes out of this thing here, maybe towards the end of the video. And then there's it's the shunt. It's running through a shunt right now, and this this little piece back here in the back of the Pi, that's a USB to serial connector, connects to that shunt, so it reports on the Victron system. And then I have another one here I'm getting ready to connect to this solar charge controller, and I'll do a little build video on these wires also. I can build 3 of these for about 10 bucks myself. To buy one from Victron cost about 30 bucks. So man, it's like 1/6 the price to do it yourself. So I'll do a little video on that. Not done yet, but again, like and subscribe. You'll see some of that as it comes your way. So next, I said I'm just going to mount this thing up here. We'll come back, take a look at everything working. Alright, earlier in the video I talked about my temporary setup, and that worked well. Did a couple camping trips that way. I had my DIY lithium battery sitting there. It has now been moved on the other side of this. On the other side of this wall is my pass-through, and then the other side of the pass-through is the underneath part of my bathroom that you can never see. That's where my entire Victron Multi-Plus shunts and bus bars and everything else are connected back there. I have a bunch of video on that. I have not edited it yet, so I'll get that posted. So like and subscribe if you haven't. That's a pretty unique setup that I've got back there. But to feed this now, you can see I've got I installed 2 bus bars. See the red and black bus bars there. You see the larger cables coming off the very bottom connector of that bus bar. Those go into the factory mess where you've got your landing gear and your lights and your battery breakaway are all connected right there. But the cables coming out of this box, this cable here, and then this black cable here, those are actually just the battery leads from my lead acid battery that used to sit there. So they connect to the bottom of those bus bars, and then the cables coming out of the very top corner of this storage into the top of that bus bar, those are coming from my new battery location. So that connects everything up, powers the landing gear and the lights and all the stuff that's connected up front here. And then I've also got a new MPPT, a little bit larger one, so I can get 2 of my DIY solar suitcases plugged in. And we won't be able to see them, but they are way back there on the back end of my 5th wheel, because my 5th wheel sits in the shade all day. So those panels just provide a little bit of charge for all the parasitic drains that you have in a system these days. And that solar suitcase, that's one of my most popular videos ever made, so I'll link that here. You can see how I made those. But then that MPPT is just wired in to, there's the back of that what used to be a Furrion connector that I made into the Powerwerx connector. So I've got I just can't really get the light reflects and you can't see, but I've got 2 places to plug in panels. Right now just 1 panel plugged in, and I could plug in my second solar suitcase into the bottom of that and get double solar suitcase power into the system, where that Furrion connector wouldn't even carry one of the of the suitcases, because they're both 200 watt suitcases. So that's just been an awesome upgrade. I've been using it now for several months, and it just makes a really great setup for getting suitcase power into your rig. Especially, I'm in the east, and every place we camp, or every place I like to camp, is shady, and so you got to get those the solar panels out away from the camper a lot of times, and this has just been the best way to do it. I really like it. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Lots more good stuff to come.